A prominent Republican strategist has just said that Donald Trump may not be physically or cognitively capable of finishing this second term in which he finds himself right now. It's not coming from Democrats. It's coming from Rick Wilson, a Republican operative, co-founder of the Lincoln Project. Let's hear what he has to say. I think some of these things maybe go a little beyond his expertise, but that's okay. I want to hear what he has to say, then we'll talk about it.
He is incoherent. His inability to articulate any thought or position without constant asides, constant lapses, the verbal aphasias he is experiencing at various points, and his, as a very close observer of Trump since 2015, I can tell you the man you're watching today is not the Trump of 2015, nor is he the Trump of 2020. He's not even the Trump of 2024. There is a decline in Trump's ability to communicate. There's a decline in Trump's ability to articulate his thoughts. This is not, uncommon when people get older, but it is. And I'm certainly not, pretending to be a gerontologist or a neurologist, but there are an awful lot of professionals in the world who are looking at the same set of behavior and saying, this is what we see in early dementia cases or in mid-tier dementia cases. This is what we see when there is a cognitive decline. Just circling man, camera, woman, TV, circling the elephant on the cognitive test does not make Donald Trump not suffering from the ravages of age and ill health.
So similarly.
All right. So let's pause there. Some of what Rick Wilson says is apparent to anybody who's been following Trump. Okay. His speech is slower. His thoughts are scattered. His coherence is deteriorating. He seems disoriented. He's far less articulate. His vocabulary has narrowed. He loses his train of thought. Anybody can see that. And I agree that even if you compare simply to a year ago, it's getting worse. And obviously to 4 years ago to 8 years ago. Wilson is not a doctor. He says other experts say they see signs of early stage dementia. Maybe. Okay. Trump does lose his train of thought mid-sentence. He rambles into unrelated stories. He repeats short phrases with increasing frequency, another sign that he's sort of like not so totally connected to the substance of what he's saying. Now, the White House physician who works for Trump, right, says Trump's in excellent health of every kind. We should just be really honest about this. If Biden's age was an issue, Trump's age has to be an issue. Trump is going to be 79 in a few days, 10 days or something like that. He doesn't exercise. He's obese. He lives off of fast food, brags about, KFC buckets and McDonald's and whatever. This is statistically dangerous. You talk about numbers. We sort of start with actuarial tables from the Social Security Administration. A 79-year-old American male, just big picture, you would expect to live 8 more years. Fine. He would survive this term if you start there. You then have to adjust that. Obese, sedentary, cardiovascular issues. That number of 8 years starts to decline, and it can decline pretty dramatically. So based on lifestyle, Trump is in an extraordinarily high-risk group. You then add to that the family history of dementia, Fred Trump, and how Trump is articulating or not articulating his thoughts. You start to say, okay, I think we have reason to be a little bit concerned here. Now, let's put aside for a second the cognitive decline. Even cognitive decline aside, even physical decline aside, I think Trump's already checked out. If you look at how he, just earlier this week went days without a single public event. If you look at how the frequency of golf has increased even more, this is something where, health aside, it doesn't seem like he's even remotely engaged. Now, the reason this is politically actionable is not that Trump is continuing to brag about passing every test. I mean, yes, but that's the cognitive and physical. We're talking about something else. We are left with a deeply fragile presidency, and it's held together by denial, ego, and fear of what comes next. Who takes over? Who's really in charge? Is it Stephen Miller? Is it? And this is not like a puppeteer sort of who's in charge. It's just Trump doesn't seem interested. With Biden, what MAGA was claiming is Biden was so physically addled and mentally addled that secretly someone was pulling the strings. Trump just doesn't seem to care. He's just more interested in golfing and handing out, medals and knickknacks in the Oval Office than actually governing. So it's just a question. It's not that they're sneakily behind Trump pulling the strings. It's just Trump doesn't seem to care. And so we look at people like, okay, what about J.D. Vance? What about, Stephen Miller and Susie Wiles, whoever, sort of like at one point it was Elon Musk. Now, obviously, it's not. Rick Wilson goes a little bit beyond his expertise, but says he's citing doctors. My argument would be it almost barely matters, given that Trump doesn't seem to give a damn and is completely checked out. Let me know what you think. I want to hear from you. You say you'll learn a new language every year, but few of us actually follow through. That's why I always recommend Babbel. It's the app that finally made language learning stick for me. This year, I've got a trip to France planned. I've already started brushing up using Babbel's 10-minute lessons. The app is built around real-life conversations, not games or gimmicks. So I'm learning exactly what I actually need to know when I land. I've even been using Babbel's speech recognition technology to improve my pronunciation. Super helpful. Babbel is designed by over 200 language experts and proven studies from places like Yale and Michigan State. There's a study that found that using Babbel just 15 hours is like a full college semester of a language. They offer 14 languages and more than 16 million people have used it. They've got a 20-day money-back guarantee, so it is risk-free to try. Here's a special limited time deal for my audience. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for my audience at babbel.com/Pacman. Rules and restrictions may apply. The link is in the description.